You know what I like? When people come out of nowhere. When people take advantage of their opportunities and run with it. Today's episode, we talk about Jason Pinnock. Hello and welcome to Big Dash Knows. Big Dash knows what? New York Giants football. Let's go. You see the thumbnail. We're talking about Jason Pinnock. Why are we talking about Jason Pinnock? Because nobody talks about him enough. And I think he's deserved, some time to be talked about. Now let's start from the beginning. Jason Pinnock draft, I believe, was the 5th round for the Jets. That was a deep secondary at the time. They thought that they could waive him and put him on the practice squad because they really did like him. It was a numbers game. They thought they can sneak him onto the practice squad for them, but no. Joe Shane swooped in and said, nah, we like this guy. We're going to add him to our 53. And that's exactly what we did. And at the time, nobody thought about it. We just had the draft. We had Julian Love. We have Xavier McKinney. Nobody's really thinking about, okay, who's the other safety going to be? Lo and behold, Xavier McKinney gets hurt. Somebody has to step in and play. And that somebody was Jason Pinnock. That's who we had, Jason Pinnock. That's what we was doing. So, so we could just jump right into it, man. For me, when I look at Jason Pinnock, when I look at his play, yes, he's not the best. He's not a guy that has outstanding numbers. And when it was time for him to step up last year and become a starter, he did just that. He stepped up and became a starter. But let's get into the stats real quick. Let's get into the stats for Jason Pinnock. Okay, so and I'm going to throw the comparison up from 2022 to 2023. Overall grade in 2022, 61.3. You look at in 2023, that jumped up about 6 points, or more than 6 points to 67.7. So he's in the green. Run defense. Jason Pinnock in 2022 had a higher run defense grade at 76.6, but he did play a little bit closer to the line, and he did not play as many snaps. In 2023, that dropped a little bit to 67.9. But where was Jason Pinnock? Mainly, he played deep. He played back. He came in support. He's a willing tackler. Needs to get a little bit better in tackling, but still, he's willing. Pass rush was a 61.8, and then that jumped up to a 66.2. Coverage 53.0, not good, and that jumped up to a 64.7. So when you look at the 2023 side, he's in the green for everything. And then also when you look at the amount of snaps. In 2022, he played 459 snaps total. 459 snaps. That jumped up to 1,011 snaps in 2023. So that's like 50% more snaps. And again, he became the starter, so you expect those snaps to go up. And he improved in every category except for run defense. And again, we're talking about a safety here. If the safety's run defense score is super high, that means everybody in front of them not doing their job. And with the addition of Bobby Okereke and Micah McFadden playing better, I would expect those numbers to either be around the same or, dip a little bit. So looking at 2022, his 3 best games there were the 2 Washington games in Houston. And then in 2023, his 3 best games were Green Bay, a game that we won, Raiders, a game that we lost, and then the Dolphins, a game that we lost as well. But we remember the 102-yard interception that he had in that Miami game. And the fun fact about that was the first touchdown the New York Giants scored in the season in the first half in that Miami Dolphins game. So we went, I believe that was week 6. We didn't score a touchdown in the first half of the season until an interception taken to the house. That goes to show you what the offense was talking about last year. It is what it is with that. So let's look also, throw up the stats for the tackles. Again, 459 snaps in 2022, 1,011 snaps in 2023. So he had 35 tackles total in 2022. That jumped up to 61 tackles in 2023. So you're seeing an improvement. You're seeing him take advantage of the opportunities. He's starting now, and he's improving. One thing that I didn't like, he had six missed tackles in 2022. That jumped up to 13 missed tackles in 2023. Now the thing about Pinnock is he is a willing tackler. He will throw his body in there. That's not a question. Is he the biggest guy? Absolutely not. His build, he's a little bit of a slender guy. You know what I mean? But he's willing. He needs to finish a little bit better. He needs to be able to get there, wrap up, because one thing I noticed with Pinnock, he likes to shoulder tackle. And you ain't got the weight behind you to be throwing your shoulders around thinking you're going to knock somebody down. So with that being said, you're in the right place, finish the play. Same thing I said with Micah McFadden. You got to wrap up and finish the tackle. In 2022, surprisingly, the guy had 2 sacks. And again, he had another 2 sacks in 2023. So that stayed the same. And then as far as interceptions go, he had 0 interceptions in 2022. And now he had 2 interceptions in the past in 2023. So I'm looking at Jason Pinnock this year. He's probably the definite starter at safety. Well, we know he's a starter at safety. The guy that plays next to him is either going to be Belton or Nubin, in my opinion. Right now, that's you can say Jalen Mills is a guy that has, the experience, but I don't think they start Jalen Mills. I think Jalen Mills might actually be on the bubble. We'll see what happens. Even though he's the most tenure safety we have in the room, I just think that the talent that we have on the team, again, we're talking about safeties. You're talking about possibly 4 max if you keep four safeties. So Jason Pinnock is one of those guys. Dane Belton is going to be another. What's his name? Tyler Nubin is most likely going to be the starter eventually next to Jason Pinnock. And then after that, you got guys like Javarius Owens, and then you got Jalen Mills. So for me, it's like I think he's on the bubble. If we keep 4 safeties, he could possibly be that 4th guy. It would be between him and Javarius Owens. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, man, for me, Jason Pinnock trends in the right direction. He does get better. He is vocal, more vocal than I thought. They have a mic'd up video that Giants have on their YouTube. He's a talker. Not just a talker like in coverage and talking trash to people. He also is a talker. He's a communicator when it comes to this defense, and you need that on the backside with a guy like Xavier McKinney gone, and you're waiting for a guy like Tyler Nubin to get to grow into his own. We hope that can happen fast, but you already have a guy like Jason Pinnock, who they played pretty much the same position where they play center fielder. You have a guy back there that he can learn from. Again, Jason Pinnock, not the greatest player on the roster, not the greatest safety, but a guy that has taken advantage of the opportunities that he was given, a guy that has shown improvement, and the eye test shows it, and then also the PFF stats show it, that this guy is getting better. And for a 5th-round draft pick who was waived and we picked up off of waivers and just snuck him on the 53, I think he surprised a lot of people, and I think a lot of Giants fans are happy with what they have in Jason Pinnock. Again, I'm taking from where he came from, a 5th-rounder who's now a starter for the New York Giants and also a productive starter. The only knock I have for him is the missed tackles, but everything else he's played pretty well. He's been aggressive, he's been good in coverage, and I don't think he's a liability. So yeah, that's going to be the video on Jason Pinnock. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about Jason Pinnock. Again, I'm happy to have him, especially with Xavier McKinney not being here. When we lost Julian Love, we had a guy that stepped up over the guys that we drafted, and I can't be mad at that at all. Again, the way I opened up this video, you have a guy that took advantage of the opportunities that he was given, and he ran with it. And how can you not respect something like that? So that's going to be the video. I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation. Let's go.